If you are or you know a young woman who is growing up without a father, struggling with her self confidence, this is the show for her. Anyone 16 to 25, please share this out with her and stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, hello, hello, hello. This is AliciaCouri, and the show is Love My Body, Love Myself. I am your host tonight, and today's show, we are sharing all about young women growing up without a father, low confidence, low self esteem, and some of the things that unfortunately happen when you're in that situation. So stay tuned for my guests coming up. But before we do that, I want to welcome all of you who are watching us on here live on Facebook. Welcome, welcome. If you are on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss when we go live. And those of you who are on LinkedIn, thank you so much for joining us on LinkedIn. And of course, Twitch, our audience over on Twitch, thank you for tuning in tonight. So if you are not on YouTube, I encourage you and invite you to go to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/c/AliciaCouri and subscribe to our channel. We got a lot of content over there, shows dealing with small businesses, sharing what their small businesses are and tips and tools for your small business. Also over there, we have these shows. Hey, Madeline, thank you for joining today. We have our Love My Body, Love Myself show. We also have Unleash Your Audacious Confidence. We have Leading with Audacious Confidence. So we have a lot of content over there to help you with leadership, to help you with self-improvement, self-development, confidence, style, beauty, all kinds of tips over there. So go on over and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Love My Body, Love Myself show is sponsored by AliciaCouri Inc. and produced by Red Carpet CEO. AliciaCouri Inc. is a boutique consulting firm that specializes in audaciously proactive leaders and teams using brain science and people data to get results. So for more information on that, you can go to AliciaCouri.com. If you find that any of the content here today is valuable to you, please leave us a comment. Let us know what you're thinking, and we can answer you live or we can answer you in the chat if you're watching on replay. So leave a comment and share your thoughts with us as we go through the show tonight. I just want to let you know that this episode with my guest was pre-recorded. So but I am here live with you. So although the interview was pre-recorded, we are here live broadcasting with you, and we'll answer any questions that you have also. So let me just make sure. I do want to also invite you to join our Facebook group. We are endeavoring to impact 100,000 women with this message of self-love and body positivity. So join our group, facebook.com/groups/LMBLM. And I thank you for that. And now I am so super excited to bring on my guest, Kellie Miles. And I want to share a little bit about Kellie with you. And so Kellie, let me show you her beautiful face here. There we go. Kellie Miles is struggled. Let me just say that. She struggled seeing value and comparing herself with others, as many women have. She allowed herself to be abused and misused because of her struggle, which led to being raped twice. And even in that, thought more about the families of the perpetrators than herself and never stood up to fight back. I'm so honored that she chose this episode to share her story with us, because there's so many young women who have gone through this or are going through this. And this is why I said, if there are young women that you can share this with, anywhere in 16 to 25, let them hear her story. Let them understand why it's so important to really build your self-confidence, and really love yourself. And so this, and I think I say it later on, this show is not for young children, but if anyone from 16 and up, you can share this with them. So I am going to now turn this over to Alicia, that's going to take over this interview. Take it away. Thank you, Alicia. And today's guest is Kellie Miles. And I'm going to bring her right up. But before I do, I just want to share that some of the things that we're talking about today, they're not for children, but for young women to really understand, because it's something that is common among us. It's something that we all have probably struggled with at some point in our lives. And so I really want this to be, it's so powerful, and I want this to be sort of a lesson for young women to watch this and learn from, and not have to go through some of the things that my next guest, Kellie Miles, went through. But there is a happy ending to all of this. There's growth, and there's development, and there's love and self-worth, which is why she's like the perfect guest for this show. All about loving yourself, loving your body, and stepping into your purpose that God has ordained you to. So I am super excited. Kellie, come to the show.
Hello. Hi, Alicia. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited. When we were talking earlier, I said, your story is unique to you, but it's not a unique situation, because so many of us have gone through that, and so many of us have struggled through it, and some never really got over it or was able to heal from it. And so this is going to be a powerful show to help women, especially, understand that there is healing after this, and also there's a way that you don't have to even experience it. So
Absolutely.
first of all, you're beautiful, gorgeous,
Thank you.
amazing, and but there was a time in your life when you struggled with your own worth and value. Talk to me a little bit about when that was and how that manifested.
Wow, that's a really deep question. And I think it goes pretty far back to, I would say, childhood, because growing up, I'm a product of a teenage pregnancy. My parents were 16 when they had me. And, they were both young. They were both kind of doing their own thing. Of course, my mom was the one who took me home and took care of me. And my dad was 16. So he wanted to go run and play and do what he wanted to do and be a kid and all of those things. And so because of what he was dealing with at his point in his life as a teenager, he wasn't thinking about a baby as much.
Right.
As a child, of course, babies don't know. They don't understand that. They're just like, well, where's my dad? Why isn't he here? Why, what's going on? And so from that point on, as my father was being 16 and growing up in that environment, I grew up with an insecurity about myself because I didn't think guys liked me. I was skinny. I thought I was ugly. I had braces and glasses, and, I wasn't voluptuous like most people think you're supposed to be as a woman. And so I didn't know what to look for or to expect when it came to love and relationships, because my father had never taught me. He never taught me who I was and how I should be treated. And so I had to find out the hard way because I didn't see the value in myself, because I was never taught as a child. Naturally, my mother taught me everything that she could. From a woman's perspective, love yourself, respect yourself. She had me in church and made sure I knew who God was and developed a relationship with him. I can't say I quite developed that relationship, but the beginning of that, is
Right.
where
The seeds were sown. The seeds were
the
sown.
seeds were sown. Exactly. And so, going back there up into, all of those years, I realized that I didn't have any self-esteem. I didn't have
Yeah.
any self-value. I didn't like myself. I did the thing that a lot of women do even now, which is compare yourself to other
You're
people
right.
because you
Wow.
don't know who you are.
You don't know who you are. Let me break in for a second because you said some really important things there about, you didn't your father wasn't around, and so you didn't really you had this, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, so you can correct me, but this sense of abandonment from the person that should be there to love you,
Hmm.
that was missing. That
Hmm.
person that that filled that void, that male figure in your life that should have filled that void
Hmm.
wasn't there. So there was a void. So
Hmm.
now you're trying to fill that because of that
Yes.
sense of abandonment and that sense of, well, why didn't he love me? Why wasn't I good enough for him to love? And so you start seeking someone else to
Hmm.
fill that for you, to help
You
you
got it.
feel like I'm worth something, because
Hmm.
I'm clearly not worthy enough for him to stick around and love. And the key to that is that it's subconscious. It's not something that's in our conscious, because as little children, we just get the message. It's
Right.
dumped into our subconscious. We have no way of linking it to anything, or um,
It's like where your mind reverts to because there is nothing else there. So,
right. There's
yeah.
there's nothing there to bring context to
Hmm.
it. So all the things that your mom was trying to pour into you, you're valuable, you're worthy, I love you, God
You're
loves you.
important.
They're
Yes.
they're words that you're hearing, but the thing that was implanted in your subconscious and in your heart from your father not being there is that, but I'm not.
Because he's not here.
Because
And
he's
so
still not
since
here.
he's not here, then that means I need to go find it. And then what
I
do?
need to find it.
You go out there and you start looking for love in all the wrong places. Ain't
All the
that
wrong
what you
places.
say?
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah,
for
that's
love
a
in all
theme
the
song
wrong
for some
places.
people. Looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yes. And
And
then when
so,
you get hurt, you feel like you deserve it. You feel like,
uh,
well,
of course
well,
I
I'm not
got hurt.
worthy. Yeah,
Of
because
course.
nobody's going to treat me right. Nobody's going to love me because I'm not valuable. So, you just keep accepting this almost self-sabotaging mindset that causes you to keep getting hurt over and over. And then you get this disdain and this hatred for men because of what you've allowed to happen.
And because you don't love you,
Right. The
you
right way.
the right way.
Hmm.
You tell yourself, yeah, I deserve it. Yes, and you, because all those, again, conscious thoughts, you're telling yourself all the right things, but you're still searching for that missing piece, and you don't even realize that that's what you're doing. And
And
so
sometimes
you
I
keep
would
the
even
bad
say,
voices come into your mind that, well,
yes.
of course he's going to leave you. Of course he's going to mistreat you, because you deserve to be treated that way,
And
because you're garbage.
even if you don't think necessarily that you are garbage or you do deserve it, you expect and you deserve something different, but you don't realize your behaviors and the way you're presenting yourself and what you're allowing is causing you to keep in that same pattern. So for
Mhm.
me, I knew this isn't how I want to be treated. I don't like hurting. I don't like for a man to be in a
Mm.
relationship with me, take me from my body. And then afterwards he's gone. And I'm sitting here like, why did he leave? Why isn't he calling me? Well, what's going on? Why is this happening? I don't want to be treated like this. But because of my behaviors and my self-sabotaging mindset, the way you think of yourself is the way you're going to respond and act. And you don't even realize it. But because I didn't have that that deposit in me from my father initially early on, well, later on we developed a relationship, but early
Mhm.
on it was like, I was missing that. So I didn't even know how to not draw that kind of
Mm.
person to treat me, even though I wanted it.
Right. You're so right. Wow. And let's identify some of those behaviors right now.
Mhm.
So, what were some of the things that you were doing that was attracting the wrong type of person?
The first thing that comes to mind is showing desperation, like, where you feel like you're desperate for the man, and you may not necessarily act like it, but if he doesn't call you when you want him to, and you don't have enough confidence in yourself to say, well, maybe he's busy, or automatically go to, oh, he's cheating, oh, he's doing something, he's calling somebody else. And it's not to say
I
necessarily
got to stalk him.
right, you become too clingy, too needy. You start devaluing yourself, like saying, well, if he wants me to do this, then I have to do it. Oh, well, if he's not going to like me if I don't. You start to become appeasing and accommodating instead of standing firm in who you are, and having that mindset that this is who I am. And if you don't like it, then you are not for me. This is what I like. And if you don't like it, then either you will adjust if you like me, or you will not. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a little bit of a compromise that goes on in relationships, but it should be a boundary. There should be a level. And when you start to develop that mindset, those behaviors of appeasing the other person, you start to slowly cross your own boundaries. And when you cross your own boundaries, then you start to devalue yourself. And people see that. Guys see that. And they'll start to say, oh, okay, well, I can get away with this. I see Shorty she gonna let me do that. Well, guess what? I'm gonna do it. When you devalue yourself, and you show that desperation, and you don't have boundaries, and when you don't have expectations, a lot of women, what are your expectations? What are you looking for? That's a behavior. When you don't establish boundaries and you don't establish expectations for yourself as a woman, then you will allow any and everything to go on to happen to you that's going to lead to those behaviors that you don't like, that keep hurting you.
Yes, that is so true. And there's also not just the desperation, but how you show up physically as well, like how you're showing up in the situation. If you are not valuing the body that you have, and you're allowing someone to just take advantage of your body however they want to, because that's how you're showing up, like, hey, it's a free for all here.
Yes.
Then you expect them to treat you with respect when you're not even respecting the body that you have. Then
you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, you have to respect your own body first before you can expect anybody else to respect your body.
Yes, and what women,
they'll touch you however they want to touch you.
Oh yeah,
because you look like you're available to be touched.
And women, unfortunately, in this day and age, it's almost like a pandemic in itself. They think that in order to pull a good man, that they have to expose themselves. They have to be, quote unquote, sexy, and they have to show all of their body in order to pull a man. But what you don't realize, most good men will tell you that they don't go for women like that. Oh, they gonna hit if they can. They gonna get you if they can. I mean, let's keep it real, but at the same time, they're not going to look at you as
they're not looking at a long-term relationship with you.
No, not at all.
A serious long-term relationship.
No, because if you allow a man to kiss you, to have sex with you, to touch your body, and you only been with them for a day, a week, and in some cases even a month, you don't really know that person, and you're meeting what they call their representative, who you want them to know they are before them, as far as the men, so that they can get what they want. But you have to show yourself to be respectable in order to be respected. And if you're not showing yourself respectable because you're coming there trying to entice the man to sleep with you, because when you're wearing those types of things, you're wearing them to be appealing to the eye. And men are visual people. And if they see something they really like, they're going to desire what they see, but they're not going to desire how you make them feel. You want the man to desire you for how you make him feel inside, emotionally, because men do have emotions.
Yeah, they do. They're not robots.
They're not.
I'm going to take a quick break. I want to come back and talk about how that whole thing, showing up, has back in the past led to some really serious consequences. So just stick around, and we'll be back with Kellie Miles. The Love My Body, Love Myself show is sponsored by AliciaCouri Inc. and produced by Red Carpet CEO. AliciaCouri Inc. specializes in developing audaciously proactive leaders and teams using brain science and people data to get results. Visit our website, AliciaCouri.com, for more information. The show is produced by Red Carpet CEO. If you'd like a copy of Age with Audacious Confidence, visit our link tree at linktr.ee/acouri. Let's get back to the show. And we're back with Kellie Miles. I'm your host, AliciaCouri, and this is Love My Body, Love Myself. And before we went to break, Kellie was sharing how low value, low self-worth, that she struggled with that, having being raised by a single mother, not really knowing her father, which now she does have a relationship with her dad, so that's great. But we left off talking about how we show up when we don't value ourselves, how we show up desperate, and that can lead to some really serious consequences, right, Kellie?
It does. Yes, it absolutely does. And I would say, in my case, I've had several instances, unfortunately, where I have been raped or taken advantage of, and in many of those places, I have never been one to be too exposing of my body. One, like I said, I had a mother who wouldn't put up with it. And I was too afraid of her to try to test that out. So for the most part, I tried to present myself physically. But when you say showing up can be a mental thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Showing up doesn't necessarily just mean the way you appear on the outside and what you're going into a situation looking like, but it also is a state of mind. And if you don't show up mentally, and then you're not aware and alert, and you're not paying attention to what's going on around you. When I was young, when I was 16, I was in a friend's house. And because I wasn't showing up, because I didn't feel valuable, and I kind of fell back in the back and let everybody else shine. And I'm trying to be everybody else's friend. And I'm trying to be a chameleon to try to be like everybody else because I didn't have my own identity.
Been there, sister friend.
Yes.
Been there.
Yes.
Been there.
And I'm at my friend's house, and she's pretty much confident in herself, and she got her brothers there and all his friends, and we just hanging out, and I'm trying to be cool. And unfortunately, I trusted some of these people because I thought I could. Mm-hmm. And in that instance, we were having a sleepover, and her brother asked me to go to the store with him. And of course, I'm not going to think anything of it. So yeah, okay, sure, let's go to the store. And we go to the store, and then because of the people who I hung around, mm-hmm. trying to be a chameleon, because I didn't show up for myself. Right. This particular this man, he was high, and he thought that I was one of those people. Mm-hmm. And this particular young lady who he thought I was, we actually both lived on the same street and had the same name. So I guess you can kind of think, see where
mistaken identity.
Yeah. I actually wrote a monologue about that, but that's another story. But anyway, this guy, he took me in his alleyway, and I'm 16 years old, and I'm thinking, well, we were coming back from the store. What are you doing? And he literally pinned me down in the car, and he raped me, and then drove me back to his house. And we went back in the house, and here I am withdrawn.
You're a little shell shocked at that point, because it's like, what do I do? Do I say anything? Do I not say anything? What just happened?
Right. And why did this just happen?
I don't want to be blamed, and I don't want to feel like someone just did something to me. So I'm just going to be quiet and
I'm not going to say
like nothing happened.
Act like nothing happened. And, I was acting weird, of course, because I stayed downstairs. They had this little living room set, and it was a little bench, like little cushioned bench. I laid on that bench, and I curled up in the fetal position, and I just stayed there because I couldn't believe it. Now, listen to this. I cared more about them and their family than I did about my own self and what this man had just did to me, even at 16 years old. I care more about them because I'm like, they're not going to believe that this happened. They're going to blame me. They're going to say, well, why did you go with him? Why did you
Right.
go to the store with him? It was nighttime. Why did
You
you?
wanted, it's
Right.
always like you wanted it.
You must have
Like
wanted
you
him,
must have wanted it.
And so, when I got that next morning, I actually did say something to his parents, and they all pulled me into this room, and they had this conversation with me about just leave it between them and they'll take care of it. Just keep it between them, because they and I didn't want to mess up, their whole family and getting all of this out and all of these things. And I did not love myself or my body enough to be able to say, no, you're not going to get away with doing this to me. I stayed there overnight, even after
Oh,
that,
wow.
and woke up the next morning. And then I
Wow.
said something, and his parents and his family talked me out of saying
Saying
anything. And
anything.
for years, I never said anything. And then I let it happen to myself again in my first marriage. Just because you're married, people, ladies, does not mean that he is okay with just taking advantage of your body if you are hurting, not feeling good, or just don't feel like it in that moment. It is
Yeah.
not okay for a man, even in your marriage, to take advantage of you.
So let me go back just a second, because,
Mhm.
and then we'll talk about the marriage stuff, because were you a virgin at that time? Or,
At 16, when the young man did that,
yeah,
no, I was not. I
right.
wasn't a virgin at that time.
Because that's the other thing, that they assume that because if
You're a
you
certain
are,
age.
yeah, that it's
Mhm.
okay to do that,
Mhm.
as a young woman. If you're a young teenage woman watching this or listening to this, even if you were sexually active beforehand, it still does not give
Not
them
okay.
permission to take advantage of you in any way, anyway. And like you said before, there was another girl who was probably a little bit more promiscuous, a little bit more flirtatious, that he mistook you for. But still, even if it was her and not you, if she wasn't consenting, it's still not okay.
It's still a no.
It's still not okay. So just wanted to clear that up before. so
Mhm.
so
Absolutely.
yeah. And then now, even in marriage, because you said
Yep.
it happened to you while you were married the first time. And so still being married, still having low self-worth,
Mhm.
I don't know if people understand that when you don't value yourself and you have low self-worth, on the outside, you can appear to be confident. You can appear to be, have it all together.
Yep.
On the inside, you're still comparing. You're still feeling shame and guilt
Mhm.
and worthlessness. And so when someone else now, your husband, climbs on top of you, and you're like, I don't really want this,
Yeah.
but what choice do I have?
Mhm. Mhm. And it's a hard thing, because you develop, because of all the things that you just listed, you develop insecurities. And in these insecurities, you almost feel like, if I don't, then he won't stay. And
Hmm.
in a marriage and in a relationship, your husband should love you enough to respect you, so that when you have those moments and those times when you don't feel up to it, that he should love you enough to respect that and wait. And you shouldn't have to fear or worry about him stepping out, because you have his heart.
Hmm.
So, and in this particular case, my ex-husband, I had just had my first son,
Hmm.
and my ex-husband, you're supposed to wait 6 weeks,
At least, at
at
least.
least.
Listen, I just did a show, and it's like, listen, sometimes it takes longer than 6 weeks for all of that
Yes,
to heal. There's a lot that happens down there. And you
yes,
give birth to a baby. Just saying,
absolutely.
a lot goes on down there.
Especially if you get a cesarean. Now, I haven't had one, but I've seen people and women who've had cesareans, and it takes time for that to heal. God forbid if
Stitching,
you get,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
Even a
So,
vaginal birth, my goodness. I could,
mhm,
yeah, it's still sensitive, painful. Things are still trying to heal. If
yep,
you had stitches, the stitches need to heal. It takes longer than 6 weeks, people. Takes longer than, just saying, takes
yes.
longer than 6 weeks.
It takes
Anyway.
And you got to give your body that time to heal. And so I had stitches. I had a vaginal. I didn't have an epidural. I was natural, had a natural labor, natural birth, and I had stitches, and I was in a lot of pain, and I was still,
Lactating. Oh my gosh.
engorged. Oh my gosh.
Engorged. Oh my gosh. I
I
talk
went
about that
from
too. That is like, that's worse than childbirth.
Yes, it's pretty painful. Yes, I
It's
went from
pretty
a B up
painful.
to a D. Okay, a B to a D. So I was stretched and in
Yeah,
pain. So,
girl, I went from a D to a G.
oh
So I know, I understand. And I'm a
yes,
tiny thing. I'm a
yes,
little bit bitty thing. So yeah,
yes.
it's not fun. It's not
It's not.
fun. People might think it looks good. It does not. It's not fun.
Mm-mm. It's a whole experience. And so imagine going through all that we just described, and your husband determining that he can't wait 6 weeks and he needs it now, and pins you on the floor and proceeds to do his thing with stitches and engorged boobs. That's rape. And that shows no love and consideration or care for him or his child. And, all of that came to be even involved in that specific marriage, in my first marriage, because I married someone in my insecurities and
Mm,
going through that lack of self-love and self-esteem and self-worth and self-value. You need to make sure you are available and you show up for yourself here before you
yes.
take yourself into a relationship long term or a marriage with anyone. Because if you don't, you're taking those same insecurities and those same devaluing behaviors into your marriage, which will allow you to. Now, mind you, this is when I had my son, right?
Yeah.
And we stayed married for 7 years after that. What
Hmm.
in the world was wrong with me that after that experience that I didn't see that something was wrong? So because
Yeah.
of my low self-esteem, my low self-value, not seeing the worth from God's perspective and how he sees me, because I didn't see that then. I allowed
Mm,
myself to stay in this relationship and endured 7 years of mental abuses and all kinds of different things unnecessarily because I was in that toxic relationship. And I'm gonna
yeah.
tell you something. I hear a lot of these young people talking about, well, yeah, well, our relationship is toxic and this, that, and the other, and but we still care about each other. Listen, whatever you put toxins in will eventually die, or it will cause all kinds of long-term negative effects. You don't
Yeah.
want to be in anything that's toxic. That's not okay. It's not cute. It's going to
Yeah.
cause problems
It's
later
going to
on
cause
down the
big
line.
problems.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to take another quick break and
Mhm.
then we're going to come back and talk about healing, redemption, forgiveness, and all that wonderful stuff. So stay tuned, everyone. The Love My Body, Love Myself show is sponsored by AliciaCouri Inc. and produced by Red Carpet CEO. AliciaCouri Inc. specializes in developing audaciously proactive leaders and teams using brain science and people data to get results. Visit our website, AliciaCouri.com, for more information. The show is produced by Red Carpet CEO. If you'd like a copy of Age with Audacious Confidence, visit our link tree at linktr.ee/acoury. Let's get back to the show. And I'm back here with Kellie Miles. Oh my gosh, we just unpacked so much stuff. So, all about self worth, self love, uh, respecting and loving your body, toxic relationships,
Mhm.
rape. I mean, there's so much in that. And if you're just joining us, I'm your host, AliciaCouri, and this is Love My Body, Love Myself. And I'm here with guest Kellie Miles. Go back and watch the replay and watch everything that came before because, wow, 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 wow. Um, and so when we left off, we were talking about, um, don't stay in a toxic relationship because things will eventually just die, and it's not going to die a pretty death. So either both of you get help individually and together, but don't stay in the same situation without addressing what's toxic and what is going on, because we as women have a huge responsibility, especially if we have children,
Yes.
to be well within ourselves, to love ourselves so that we can properly love our children and love our mates and do this in the right way, do this in a godly way. So, how were you able to turn things around for yourself, Kellie?
Well, honestly, I got to a point where I literally got fed up and I said, you know what, enough is enough. I am sick and tired of dealing with this. And told myself, I said, Lord, I know. I've always, like I said, was born and raised in the church, but I didn't really start to develop and have a relationship with God. I was just doing a religious thing, go to
Mhm.
church, you take
Show
sacraments.
up, do your
Oh, yeah.
thing.
But I didn't actually, because there's a difference between religion and relationship. And so when I got to
Absolutely.
that point, and I said to myself, you know what? I'm tired of going through this, and I'm tired of trying to do this myself. And I got to that point and I said, Lord, this can't be what you have for me for a marriage. This can't be it. This can't be how I have to feel for the rest of my life. And when I got to that point, I started to seek out the one who made me, the
Mm.
one who had purpose for me. If you don't know the purpose of a thing, you'll either misuse it or abuse it. And so I had
Oh,
to learn me. I
I
had
got
to learn.
chills. Yeah.
I had to learn about who God was and how he created me. And in all honesty, you can't knock it until you try it. And I had to try it myself. Everybody was preaching Jesus and all of this other stuff, but until I actually took it serious and started to determine that I don't want to be treated like this, and because my natural father didn't teach me how I'm supposed to be treated, then I need to go to my spiritual father and say, Lord, teach me. And then what he did was he started to surround me with people
Mm.
who would help me to heal first and foremost. The way that you heal is you have to face that thing. You have to accept it. You have to understand it. You have to realize that it's real and it did happen, but it's not going to determine who I am. And it's not
Doesn't
going to
define you. Does
it
not
doesn't
define you.
define me. And so I got to that point and I started to saturate myself in God's word. I started to take him and wrap him around me and dig in his word and research and find out who I was, in addition to the support system that I had around me of people who helped me to heal through that process and help somebody else.
I love that. And now, what is the work that you do now?
And now I have an organization. I have an LLC, which encompasses a Christian women's club, as well as a Christian talk show as well. And then I have the foundation. And what we do is we go out and we try to beautify, enrich, and empower women for the LLC side from the inside out, helping them to see their value from God's perspective and
Mm.
talking about some of these topics and things to help them. And we do it in an artistic fashion because I love the arts and I love acting and theater. So we take a lot of those principles of acting and apply it to our everyday life so that we can get through some of these situations. And then for the foundation side, we take the arts to the street, and we're trying to help people to change through our theater and our presentations and performances. We try to help people to challenge their thought processes, which encourages a mindset changes and hope to inspire behavior modification.
Well, Kellie, how can people get a hold of you if they want to know more, if they want to support your foundation? What is the best way that they can reach you?
So I'm reachable on Facebook. If you want to go to Facebook, I think my handle is VWQL Foundation. That's at VWQL Foundation. If you want to get information about the foundation, you can also visit my website at www.vwqueenslair.org. And you can click on there and you'll find information about the LLC as well as the foundation. And you can also send me an email at info@vwqueenslair.org.
All right. So I'm just going to pop that up on the screen. If anybody missed it, it's Facebook. You can go to at VWQL Foundation or www.vwqueenslair. Did I spell that right? .org.
Yes.
Make
Yes.
sure I have the spelling correctly. So you can go check that out. And, it's so important for us to understand our identity who
Yes.
we are, how we were created, and what our purpose is. Because when we can get to the foundation of that, then no one can mistreat you, because you know who you
Right.
are and you know whose you are. And so that is so important to understand that. Don't do the thing where you're just playing church or playing, whatever it is. When people who are or have been through things talk to you, don't go roll your eyes, say, yeah, yeah, yeah. They're telling you things from a perspective that you may not even understand yet, but they're telling you it's something that they have probably gone through. Like your mother was probably telling you these things
She was.
because she got pregnant early and she went through the same situation. And so she was trying to warn you, but didn't necessarily have the right tools or the right way to share it with you.
Hmm.
And she did her best, and she tried her best to tell you, you have to value yourself, you have to, and tell you the right things. But sometimes you have to experience the right things, and sometimes that experience, at least for me and for you, can only come through having an encounter with Christ. Because
Yeah.
that's how it was for me, that's how it was for
Hmm.
you. I'm not telling anybody how they have to do it. I'm just saying that that's how I learned what my value was. That's how Kellie learned what her value was. And it was a very important thing for me to walk through, as it was for Kellie as well. So thank you so much, Kellie, for
Yes.
being so honest, so open, so vulnerable, and sharing really, this story. And like I said from the beginning, that your story is unique in what you went through,
Hmm.
but it is a universal
Yeah.
experience that so many young women struggle with. And I truly hope that this episode has helped somebody out
Yes.
there who's dealing with that situation. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Alicia. It's been amazing.
Yay. Bye. Oh, and before I forget, Kellie's story and my story, I is in this book. Rise
Yes.
Up, Women Who Lead Building Legacy. So we both are authors in this book. So you can go to my link tree and actually purchase a copy of the book.
Hmm.
It's linktr.ee/ACouri. And you can go to Linktree. Kellie's story. It's 33 women telling their stories, and you can grab a copy of it. It's called Rise Up, Women Who Lead Building Legacy. Let me put up this so we can still see us. So you can check it out on Linktree. And again, thank you so much, Kellie, for being a part of this legacy, this show that's helping women out there. And it's called Love My Body, Love Myself. Thank you. Mwah.
Thank you.
Mic is muted. I was saying, what a powerful episode. I am super thankful for those of you who shared it out. I believe that this episode is is meant to be shared. It's for young women to learn and understand and hear from someone who really opened up her heart. And I think I said it at the beginning, this is the first time she's really opened up this story and shared everything about this story. So I appreciate, and I am so honored that she trusted me enough to come on the show and share this with you all. And it's such a powerful story. And again, many of us have walked that walk, have experienced some of the things that Kellie talked about in our lives. And it's important that young women begin to understand how they need to show up, like Kellie said, up here and in here, and to really love themselves. And this is why this show is so important to share with young women, not just this episode, but this movement of love my body, love myself, so we can start respecting ourselves walking and requiring others to respect us. But others will not respect us if we do not respect ourselves. And, you know, Kellie mentioned loving yourself the right way, really understanding how to love yourself the right way, and to set proper boundaries and proper expectations. Set expectations, set boundaries for yourself so that others will respect that. I am super thankful for all of you who joined us tonight. The comments were great. You guys were awesome, just sharing and leaving a comment, because you were showing how much this episode was impacting you. So thank you so much for all those comments. Love them. Again, go to youtube.com/c/AliciaCouri for the replay and for other episodes of Love My Body, Love Myself. We have a lot of content over there that you are able to learn from, absorb from. You can share with others, and I appreciate it. Hi. Thank you so much. So I just want to say thank you, Cassie. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Dora. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, Tony, and whoever else was on the Facebook that was leaving comments for us. And thank you for tuning in and watching the show. This show was sponsored by AliciaCouri Inc. and produced by Red Carpet CEO. In addition, I just want to let you know, please come over to our Facebook group. It is facebook.com/groups/LMBLM. And on that group, you can share your story. And also, if you would like to be a guest on the show, if you'd like to support this show, sponsor the show, or be a guest on the show, please email us at support@AliciaCouri.com. Send us your email. Let us know that you want to be a guest on the show. If you're a young woman, if you're a woman who is not so young, you can come on in. Thank you so much, Kellie, for coming on the show. Victorious Woman's Queen's Lair. Whoop, whoop. Y'all go out and check out Kellie. You're very welcome, Dora. Go ahead and check out Kellie. Go to her Facebook. It's VW Queen's Lair, or Acting is My Purpose. Or you can go check her out on IG. It's VW Queen's Lair. Connect with Kellie. Connect with her. She's doing some phenomenal things out there in the community, doing some phenomenal things to support women and help us show up powerfully. So if you missed any episodes, go back. If you missed some of this, go back and watch the replay again, and let me know. Leave comments. We'll go back and answer those if you have any questions or comments. So a little plug for Red Carpet CEO. We have our Small Business Saturday Shout Out Show, which is usually on the first and third Saturdays of the month. So in the month of April, we will have some new shows coming up. On Mondays is Unleash Your Audacious Confidence Show. It's on winwinwomen.tv. So Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern, come join us there. And of course, Small Business Saturdays on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm looking forward to seeing you all. If you want to connect with me on social media, go to Alicia360.com to connect with me. Love you all. Thank you for joining me today. And I just want to share that for all of you women out there, men too, because I know some of you men do join us here on the show, and I appreciate that, and I thank you. I encourage you to do something this week. Do something this week for yourself, whether it's mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical. Do something that proves to yourself that you love the body that you're in, that you were given. You love your body, and that you love yourself. And then comment, leave me a comment, connect with me, leave me a comment. Let me know what you did. Come to the group, come to facebook.com/group/LMBLM. Leave a comment for me and tell me what you did this week to love your body, love yourself. If you don't want to be in the group, you don't want to send messages in the group, send an email, support@AliciaCouri.com. Let me know what you did this week before the next show to love your body and love yourself. We will be back. We'll be back next week with another amazing guest. So come on back, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday, March 31st. And don't forget, this Tuesday night, we have our Small Business Saturday shout out, our SBSSO live networking event. So again, go to any of our groups, even if you're on my Facebook, follow me on Facebook. The link is there to register and register to come to our networking event. We have so much fun at our networking events. I want to see you there, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday night, SBSSO networking event. Come on and share with us that day. So if you don't know where it is, message me and I'll send you the link. That's it for me. So be bold, be brave, and every day do one thing to step out with audacious confidence and prove to yourself that you love your body and love yourself. Until next time, mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you all. Bye.